Hello everyone, let's get on to the next Roxy's Journalist Stitchery. Now, just carrying on from the Holbrook op shop, I did get this cushion cover and as I was tearing it up and making some lovely yellows, look at the inside, look at it, look how much it's faded. I love that inside, but with slow stitch it's great because you could just use the inside. What I laughed about was that as I was cutting it up and seeing how nice this inside bit was, I thought, oh, it's a shame it's a bit long, but I thought there's a ready-made zip for something, and I have been wanting to make some sort of a pouch or something with the zip in, and I just haven't got to it yet. So I think that this is a very large pouch, but a bit exciting too. So that's on my to-do list. So don't need glue in there. I'll need scissors. I'm loving carrying around my little turnover pouch, and this is the thread I'm using. Okay, so I think, have I got something threaded up in here? I think I've been trying to do that, then put it away, and then get out the next day's stuff and put that away. And so I'm trying my best to be organised. So we are up to here. So I did the strawberry the other day and finished this beautiful, pure Irish linen, gorgeous. So what I've done, I know last week or the other day, whenever it was, I think it was last Sunday, today is Thursday, I started seed stitching the background, and I've worked from a yellowy orangey to the pinky reddies to now this one. This one I've ended up with the yellow side of it. Let me show you. Of course the dog just started to bark as I got on. I don't know why. It usually only barks on the weekend because I think that the owners go out. Okay, so when I took off a bit of this, I've ended up with the light yellow through to the paler orange, and I really do like that. However, my idea was that it was like a sunset. I've used the heat eraser pen to draw a circle, so I'm going around, and then I'll take that off, and so for me it's like, oh, this is a real summer sunsetty kind of day. So I think I will get a bit more of the red. I'm just using 2 strands and really loving it. And I love the response to the stories, and I love that everybody's finding these stories and remembering stories from their childhood. It's so nice. I'm liking hearing other people's stories. It's great. And I was just trying to think of more stories. I had a fairly traumatic couple of events from when I was 8. I don't want to talk about them, but I am aware that many of us might have anything that could have happened when we were younger that took away a little bit from the beauty of childhood, and we deal with it. It affects us, but we deal with it. So when I went to think about, oh, this is great, telling these little stories of, being young, and I was trying to track from the age that I was talking about, and I realised that from that moment, through having trauma and becoming an angsty teenager, I was just trying to think, well, what are nicer memories? And I'm tracking quite forward now. So I went to art school when I left school early and went to art school, and there were one or two, aside from my own negative voice about my abilities, because trauma can do that. It can make you question yourself and belittle yourself because things have happened to you that take away your autonomy. And even though I went to art school and felt like I wasn't as good as all the other people there, what I did do was make probably my first friend. I mean, out of high school, when you're at high school, you have your group and they're your friends. But I did make my first friend who lived in the country. So for anyone in Australia, just trying to work out what has gone on with this needle and thread. Somehow it's got a bit messed up. Anyone in Australia, I'm in Melbourne, which is the bottom of Australia to the east, so in Victoria. I'm going to just thread this again. I don't know what's going on with it. One of these has come out. And the friend I made at art school, because I had to go into the city, so it was a bit scary. I had to go on the train as a 15 or 16 year old into the city, and it was a bit scary. It was quite terrifying, but it was all right when it was in the day because there were lots of people on the train, and I got home within work hours, so there were still lots of people on the train on the way home. And this new friend lived in Tokemore, and Tokemore is up on the border near Finley and Deniliquin, and she had come down to attend art school. She made these fabulous pottery heads, really quite large, and she called them her Berts. Her name was Ava. Ava, if you see this, say hello. And I remember that you always end up doing stuff like that with a friend when it's summer, because they're your school holidays. So even as a young adult, I suppose I might have been 17 by the time I went. This was my first art school, and we were learning window dressing, which meant that you had to learn to paint backdrops and different aspects of carpentry and stuff like that to build the boxes in the windows. So if you imagine, at the time, of course, we had the Maya Christmas windows, which we still do. So some people may have aspired to be window dressers for, the big Maya sort of windows. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was probably a bit lost. And she had a car. So we ended up at the Christmas holidays going up to, I think it was just a couple of days. I can't remember if we drove back or if I caught the train back. And just going up there, and it was my first time visiting away from home, I think. And I was just so grateful. I was so grateful that I felt like a bit of an outsider to have actually made this friend. And she took me to a party, and she took me on the Murray River. There are beaches, so she took me to Tokemore, the local beach, which is sort of right on the border. Anyway, it was fun. And I got to, interestingly, at that age, I didn't know a lot about, washing and cooking and stuff, because Mum did everything. She didn't let me in the kitchen really. It was probably not good, not a good thing. Didn't get to learn a lot of stuff till later, until I moved out of home. But I just remember how freeing it was, which I think it's, you know, it's just another one of those things why I love traveling, because you learn about different people and how they live. And of course back then, I mean, I haven't been to Tokemore since, I went once after that, but that might have been 10 or 12 years ago or something. You know, and all these little country towns, they just change. They change over time, but back then it was this wonderful, earthy, you know, old wooden house with the old washing machine and hang the linens on the line, and just beautiful, you know. Now I'd really love it and really appreciate it. Back then I was just a scared girl, really, just a scared little girl. Scared of the big bad world and feeling sort of like I was the odd one out, because some of the people at that art school weren't so nice, but I look back and I go, wow, the people that weren't very nice were on heroin. You know, they were judging me for not being like that, for coming from, you know, a sort of a Christian background. And I was the odd one out, and they weren't nice about that. Anyway, I have been reviewing my life a little bit, so it's interesting having this story. I wasn't expecting this story to pop out, and that's what did. But the sun and the, you know, lying on the beach out in the countryside, which is an odd concept because it's just that it's a river, but it's sandy, so they would call it the beach, is just a really beautiful memory of friendship and kindness, because she didn't mind who I was, and she was quite happy to invite me to her family home and for that drive. And I have to say, I might have told the story before, but we listened to Neil Young Harvest CD. Well, back then it was cassette tape, all the way up on the drive up and on the drive back, over and over. I don't think we even put anything else on, unless we put on the Moody Blues. This is what happened the other day when I was coming back from holidays, and it was like the 70s music came on, and I was like, oh my goodness, I know all those songs. Funny. So travel for me, lazy days of summer, kind of also ties in with traveling. Road trips. Love a road trip. Oh, I love it. I love a road trip. Especially a nice, calm and peaceful road trip. Whether it's with friends or with just on my own. So my little seed stitches, the whole idea of my seed stitch here is really to fill up this whole area. It's probably a bit boring to watch after a while, but the thing about this prompt is we're just loving telling the stories. It's great. Oh, it's so good. Thinking about another beautiful lazy days of summer. I I think it was 2017 or 18. I think it was probably, it could have been late 17. No, because it was June, July, or August. Maybe it was August. My first trip to Paris. And I remember how nice. It's always nice to leave Melbourne in winter and arrive somewhere in summer. I love that. I just think that's wonderful. And I remember how nice it also is to throw off your heavy winter clothes and just get into a nice spring or summer dress and feel light and abundant. And you know, it was the first time I'd been in a country that I didn't speak the language of for a long time. I went to Thailand first when I was only about I guess 23 or something, but it'd been a while since I'd been. Oh no, I went to Vietnam. No, that was after. No, that was after Paris. And I went to do some classes in a modality I was learning at the time. And something beautiful was that I'd made a friend there. So talking about friendship today, obviously, that's the topic of choice from the subconscious. She was from French Switzerland, so whatever the border, near the border. So she spoke really fabulous French and fabulous English. I so envy those people. I really wish I could speak more than one language, but not everyone has that skill. You can pick it up if you live there, but I definitely do not have that skill. Well, actually, I just don't have the focus, I guess, for it. I try my best. But it was so nice. She was so kind to help me, you know, at a shop. In fact, a couple of people were really kind. There was one kind lady doing the workshop who did not really speak English, but she was really excited to have someone there that was a similar age in the workshop. And I say that because my other Swiss French friend was I think she was in her late 20s. And I don't really care about age. She didn't care about age. She was very kind to come with me into a shop and to help me walking around wherever it was that I, you know, couldn't find my way back to where I was staying, things like that. So two really, there was the older lady that was really happy I was there, took me to a restaurant at the very first or second day I arrived, and it was a proper out of the way little French Parisian restaurant, which was not a cheap one, but I could say to her that I loved fish, so she ordered me a really lovely baked in the, you know, the paper, the like deli paper or greaseproof paper. Oh look, an orange bit in my orts. Oh, I love it. She ordered, and it was like little chat potatoes and this beautiful fish in its little greaseproof paper bake. Oh, delicious. Oh, now I'm thinking about it, I'm hungry now. Talking about fish has made me hungry. I do love a good bit of fish. Anyway, the two really, where's my threader gone? I'll be in trouble now. The two favourite memories, there it is, were walking on a stinking hot day. I think the course was maybe 7 days or something like that. but next to the venue was a cemetery. Tall, open inside, like a, I can't explain it because I can't think what the word is. It's sort of like a crypt, but crypts are sort of bigger and more enclosed like a room, but this is like a, you know, statue in the garden size type of thing, which had stained glass up the top, so when the light hit the stained glass it would come through and shine supposedly on the little urn or plaque or whatever was down in the bottom of this sort of, I don't know what they're called. It's like a, sort of like a sculpture or something that's hollow, like a church spire but on the ground. I don't know, I can't explain it. And I lost all my photos when my memory storage thing unit broke, so I can't even insert a photo. Well, I might try and search on the internet to show you. But they were just beautiful, so I loved going and walking around that cemetery. So that was one special memory on a stinky hot day, seeing those beautiful, beautiful stained glass pieces dedicated to people that were loved. The other beautiful memory was just that freedom of jumping into an Uber, going to an area that's quite popular and just sitting out in front of a cafe and people watching in the sun. That was fabulous. Oh, and one day I did go to look at the Eiffel Tower with one of my other friends. So she'd come over from Melbourne and we actually went and got incredibly drunk. We decided it was the last day of the course and we should treat ourselves at lunchtime to a long lunch. In fact, we missed the end of the last day because we had too much of a good time. So we went and we had, once again, fish. Oh, love it. But we had the whole lot. Like, we had an entree and bread and a big lovely dinner, and then we decided that we had to order, I'm talking about food a bit, food and friendship, double F today. We were talking, we were just having the time of our life, and we ordered, for dessert, we ordered creme brulee and a tarte citron, lemon tart, and we had half each of the desserts because we just said, right, we're here, we've been doing this course, and which is wonderful, we loved it, doing this course all week, and now we should just give ourselves a treat on the last day. It was great. But I think we shared a bottle of wine between us and we're just total lightweights. So we were pretty drunk when we got back to class and we'd missed the whole end. And I think we might have just got there in time for the final group photo. We didn't care at the time. We were just having a good time and enjoying ourselves. So there's a few more lazy days of summer stories, but in different countries. That was Paris. I don't know if when I went to Vietnam it was lazy days of summer enjoyable because it's so hot and sweltery, but I also went about, when did I go? I went early August or late July, 2019, because I came back straight after I came back and had surgery for cancer, but successful, got it all out. But it was really, I wasn't well and I was on my own and I was just trundling around and it was too muggy. You know when you're like, lazy days of summer, so here's an interesting take. Lazy days of summer, to me, are a dry heat. They're not a muggy, sweltery heat like in Queensland. Can be a muggy heat. And your hair goes all limp and you just wiped out because it's just too hot, too hot, in a wiped out sort of way. Whereas if you go over to Perth or even in Melbourne, it's a drier heat. It's not total wipeout. Just trying to think about Thailand. I think we went to Thailand. I'm pretty sure we went in January, but of course their climate is a lot warmer. So it wasn't lazy days of summer. It was trekking around, riding elephants, and just being warm because the climate's warmer. Trekking, riding elephants, which I would not do now. We're a bit more educated. That was back in, I don't know, early 80s maybe. Probably about 83 or 4, I imagine. I think when I was about, I don't know, 21, some 22. That wasn't good maths. That trip was amazing though, because it was the first time aside from being born in England and coming to Australia as a 3-year-old, that was the first trip as an adult that I got to experience another culture, and I loved it. I loved it so much. Just loved it. We made rafts and rode down the river on our rafts, which thank goodness were not, the rapids weren't big or terrifying. I was terrified of that, but we were lucky. We got fairly calm weather, calm water, and it was actually quite fun. We walked for miles and miles and miles and miles, which was also fun. Not being someone who really likes exercise as much as other people I know, I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. We stayed in a long hut. We stayed in a tiny little village which had the family who rented out their hut. It was, you know, the huts sort of on stilts that are just a room basically, and you sleep on a mat. It's a good experience to do that sort of stuff because it really reminds you of you know, what your creature comforts are. I couldn't do it now. That would be so hard on my hips and my back. But at the time I was younger and it was all a big adventure. I'm just going to pop off and finish this and get my iron ready to iron the back of that. I'll be back in a sec. Right, just getting my little iron out. Just needs to have a moment to heat up. Oh, sorry about that noise. I've got to find what happened to the plug. Oh my goodness. There it is. Oh, why won't it sit up? What's happening with its legs today? Wobby World. Oh, I love this effect of a circle with the seed stitch. Love that. So just getting it to heat up a little bit. I'm going to do it on the back. Well, it's because I have bought, I'll show you. I don't know, I was ironing something and I think it was a plastic that I didn't realise, and it's made a mark. And I've got this iron cleaner. I haven't used it yet, and I probably should have before I did this, but it doesn't matter because it's the back. So I think that'll be warm enough now. Give that a little, am I on camera? Yes. Just gonna hold that. All right, let me unplug that. I'm holding it so it doesn't fall over while it's hot. I can't unplug it. Oh my goodness, there we go, we got it. Put it on my table over here, safe. There, that's better. Safe and sound. There we go. Oh, what a great effect. Oh, there's a little bit of blue there. Hopefully it's still a little bit warm. Didn't want to get that scale mark from the back of the iron. No, that's fine. Oh, let me fold this. Also, that has to go in here. I don't think I've shown, I haven't done too much to the back, the part that it's going to go inside. Just looking around what I did with it. I think I've moved it. I've been sitting at the other table, so I'm slowly getting organised here. And now for our next prompt, I've got to add in a couple more of these. Let me get the cover. I don't even know if I showed it. Anyway, it'll be like this way. So this is only halfway through. It's quite thick, isn't it? But it fits in. Put it on camera properly, Christina. It fits in here nicely. And then this is the inside, but this will be glued to that. So that will be the first page when you pull it out, like that. And I'll probably give it a good iron so it's all fairly in place. Now I don't know if I showed anyone this or not. I took it up to Green Door, so I know I showed Juju and Kate. Field notes. Here's the stem of the leaf, and I put a bit of rickrack on for the joining and a button, which is a green button, and I'm just doing that. Probably went off camera, and tying this around here. And I've been actually thinking there's a possibility I might attach something here. I haven't actually found the thing that's going to be attached there, but I did think I might like to do that, so that might be something for another day. But there you go, we have now finished summer, heading into autumn. Anyway, there you go. Hello to new subscribers. I don't know what happened. It's funny, we can have all these different arcs and stuff with YouTube. So I've had an influx and I'm really very, very grateful for that. It inspires me and it makes me feel that it's worth doing what I'm doing. So thank you and welcome, and say hi in the comments, say where you're from, and thanks for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.